Hello, hello.
Yo,
How's it
what's
going,
up,
man?
dude?
I'm doing all right. I just finished up one of my previous coaching calls, but the one in between this one and my first one fell through, so could start a little earlier.
Nice.
So yeah, I got this one, and then I think I'm done for the night. I can kind of catch up on my other stuff I got going on, which is kind of nice. I always got shit I can
Damn,
do.
dude.
Um, I'm not gonna
Thanks a
lie.
lot for doing this, by the way.
Yeah, not a problem. I'm not gonna lie. I actually did not expect this many people to be asking for coaching. I usually have literally like a couple every day to do.
Oh, shit.
So yeah, it's been more busy than I expected. So I've had to cut back on the amount of days that I do. So I actually recently stopped doing my coaching on Sundays, Tuesdays, and Thursdays, just because I want to actually attend the coaching calls and then take the rest of the day to do my own training and stuff like that too. So
Yeah, yeah.
so yeah.
Damn. Are you in the GCR primarily to like buff up your coaching skills, or is this just like
Nope.
legit, like you're a homie?
This is literally just me. Yeah. So I
Whew.
actually joined because I wanted to reach SSL rank. I'm here to get better just like everybody else, but I
hmm
do know that obviously I'm starting from a higher level than most people, so I'm not going to see the exponential growth that a lot of the lower ranks are. So I can already give a lot of advice just because I'm at where most people want to be. So
Yeah,
I
absolutely.
think I have a lot to offer as well. So I'm just kind of throwing my ideas and my thoughts out there.
Got you.
So yeah.
Out of uh, Out of curiosity,
Mhm.
as somebody coming in at such a high level, do you feel like you're getting a lot of valuable insight from the program?
Um, hmm. To be honest with you, I knew going in that I wasn't going to be getting as much kind of bang for my buck, if you will, compared to most
hmm
people, right? I knew that obviously at best case, if I'm or if I'm GC1 or GC2, then at best case, I'm only, I'm paying X amount just for going up 2 ranks, right?
Yeah, yeah,
So like,
yeah.
I
Fair
knew
enough.
going into it that I wasn't going to be getting as much out of it, right? So I knew that going
hmm
into it. But
Word.
I will say the main thing is obviously knowing what to do differently than being stuck in my current playstyle because obviously it wasn't working up until this point. So,
hmm
um, yeah, I think a lot of it was just been the mindset and just having a group of people and breaking out of my current sort of I don't want to say a slump, but my current plateau for the last couple of years I've been
Right.
playing with
You've
the
been
same
like in that
people.
comfort zone.
Yeah, I've been in the comfort zone, right? Playing this with literally with the same people. I never solo queued. Not that I don't like solo queuing, but I just always played with the same amount of people, and we'd always just queue ranked, and I wouldn't think anything of it. I wouldn't play
Yep.
any different, and I was expecting to rank up, right? That's the definition of insanity right there. So, yes, it was driving me insane. So, yes, I joined the GCR to get better like everybody else. So, I gave all my friends a heads up that I wouldn't be talking to them. I wouldn't be playing any games with them until, I'm going full bore into this. So,
Damn.
I will say I genuinely love the fact that the community is out. There's always people in Discord that will play and are
hmm
willing to, obviously take my advice as well, but I'm always willing to hear advice from people if they see like, oh, hey, I think you probably could have done this instead of that, Jared, or whatever. I'll go through replays just as much as I'll go through replays with you guys. I'm always open to hearing, feedback. You don't have to be GC or top 100 or SSL to give feedback on something, right?
Right.
So
Yep.
so yeah, I'm also here to learn just as much as you guys are.
Fucking
Um,
A, dude.
yep. So
So how
yeah,
do we
this
do
is
this?
all
What's the
right. So
protocol here?
all right. So I'm just gonna go over. So we had some notes in the coaching session here. So you said you mainly wanted to focus on ones from the sound of it. You said your to quote you, your ones game is in shambles. That sounds pretty exaggerated to be honest, but that's all right. So
I
you said
went
that.
D2 to P2 while
Oof.
training.
Okay. All right.
And
All
I
right. That does sound kind of like in shambles.
yeah, no, straight up. Like I worked my ass off. I'm a ones main. Got myself up to
Wow.
D2 end of last season. Got back to D2 this season. Was like feeling pretty good. Kind of still on the climb. I've only been playing like less than a year,
Mhm.
and then I start this program and like literally putting in explicit training into the regimen has like fucking the old play style is gone, but there is nothing. You know what I mean?
Yep. So actually, I would like to kind of explain a little bit. I think if you just kind of back up for a second, right? Obviously, if you're training on things you haven't trained before or focusing on things you haven't trained before, obviously you're going to be very uncomfortable, right? If you're especially if you're trying to implement them in game, you're going to be
hmm
doing stuff that will be uncomfortable and you are going to be executing stuff that you're not as good at executing at, right? So you may miss the ball, or you may not get that goal that you otherwise would have, right? Or you may not have had that save, right? So
Mhm.
yes, it is going to be awkward, and I'm not gonna lie, I'm in the same exact boat that you are right now, for the most part. There are a lot of things that I am also trying to do. For example, like bounce dribbles, right? That is something you will never see me do ever in games,
Right.
ever. So, especially
Yes.
because I'm a twos and I'm actually a threes main before I joined this program. So you don't have really, especially in
Mhm.
threes, you don't have the opportunity to do them as much as you do in ones or twos. But
Right.
yes, I'm in the same boat for the most part that you guys are as well. So that I find myself like I'm down to GC1 Div 4 right now, I think, in or GC1 Div 3 even in twos and threes. So like I'm lower ranked than where I normally am at too. So I
Yeah.
will say though, I do enjoy being able to pull off something that I wouldn't normally be able to do in game too. So at this moment, I'm trying to just find those moments where like I do actually execute something that I would not have done before, right? And that's my win for the game, right?
Mhm.
I've actually turned
Yep.
off I've turned on all the anonymizer features in Baka's mods, so I don't see the scoreboard and I don't see MMR and all that kind of stuff because stuff does tilt me. So I'm also
Mhm.
just trying to find those wins and trying to focus on the highlights of like, okay, well, I know may not be winning this game playing how I used to play, but I'm actually doing stuff and I'm widening my arsenal of abilities, and
Yep.
actually improving at the game rather than just focusing on the immediate win and the immediate game at hand.
Yep.
So,
Yep.
yep,
I
it will come with time, obviously. It doesn't just
Yeah,
happen
I'm
overnight.
not it is in shambles. I'm not downhearted about it, so to say, right? From
Yeah.
my point of view, it's like now seems like a perfect time to have somebody pick me apart, you know?
Yeah, for sure, definitely. So yes, I'm super glad that you booked a session. So like you said, you're plat. Are you currently still plat in ones right now? Is that where you're at?
I'm plat 2 presently, yes.
Okay. All right. So I actually just watched a plat gameplay in ones as well. So you're kind of in luck. I kind of have a better idea for the plat gameplay because I don't want to sound like a cocky asshole, but I literally haven't been that ranked since I started playing the game in
No,
2015. So
I
like
get it.
when they didn't even have platinum as like back in my day, platinum was top 100 only.
Mhm.
Because that went bronze, silver, gold, and then platinum was top 100. So like they didn't even have platinum as we know it today. So yeah.
Right. Right. You
Um
rode like the top of the curve up as it all developed. And not for
yeah.
nothing, I think it's like it's kind of like as time goes on, what it means to be a plat changes. You know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely. Definitely. Um All right. So, did you have a specific replay or something that we wanted to go over? Because I
Uh,
would find it very hard to go over, obviously, your gameplay if I don't have something to look at.
yep, gotcha.
All right. If you just want to attach a replay or two in Discord, we can go over it.
I'm just gonna grab close losses
Yep.
here.
Okay. So I'm just gonna kind of go over your notes, just kind of more for myself and for anybody that would watch this at a later time. So you said that you've obviously experienced a lot of mechanical growth, right? You're practicing a lot of stuff that you haven't before. So,
Mhm.
but you feel like your ground game has actually gotten shakier in games, and your confidence is maybe a little more shaky too. And you're not really sure when to go for the ball. You're not sure when to take possession, and you're just kind of like all over the place. It sounds so. All
Yeah,
right. I'm sure there's a
that would
lot
be
that
a
we
way
can
to put
talk
it.
about.
Sure.
I'm probably going to be focusing before I'm just going to take a guesstimate on probably defensive positioning and when to challenge because I find that that's probably the
Mhm.
most popular question that a lot of people have at lower ranks is knowing like, okay, well, when should I go for a challenge, right? If I'm on defense,
Mhm.
it's like, okay, well, should I go now or should I wait? That kind of thing. So
Right.
we'll cover
Yeah.
that here in a second. So
Sounds good. And actually, this game was pretty representative of some good growth. This was a today win.
okay,
I don't know
awesome.
if there's more to pick apart on that, but
Okay. I actually am gonna stream this in Discord, so you should be able to see it. You should be
oh,
able to
word.
see
I can just
um
ride along.
Yep. So you should be able to see my yellow marker across the screen as well. It'll help me point out some stuff as we go along of like specifically what I mean when I say hit the ball this way. I'll be able to
Yes,
draw
sir.
arrows on screen and that kind of thing.
I like it.
All right. So I'm kind of only streaming at 720p. Like I said, I'm also recording this locally and I'll upload this to my YouTube channel, so it'll be in much higher quality there later on.
Cool.
All right, let's get into it. Oh yeah, I do have the anonymizer, but it looks like it's not working for whatever reason, but it makes it obvious so I know who's who. All right, so first thing is
Mhm.
you want to flip twice on the kickoff.
Yep.
I'm sure you
I
already know this. Yeah,
I've
obviously.
started working it. The the reason I have not until now despite having put some reps into it and having it serviceable already, is that straight up I win a fuckload of kickoffs. Like I win them
Already.
extremely reliably, like up through champ lobbies.
Interesting. Why do you think that is? Despite the fact that you're
Uh,
not doing a quote unquote normal or better kickoff.
I think it's likely because I'm investing all of my boost, so effectively making an all or nothing play off the jump. But also I think it's because I am rather good at challenges on average.
Hmm. Sounds reasonable considering you said you're a ones main, so I would hope
Hmm.
so. All right, well, let's see. Yeah, obviously, yeah, you pretty heavily won that kickoff. If anything, I would say you could almost be a little more risky here too, because now you actually grab this 12. I don't know
Hmm.
how good you are at diagonal flips or even speed flips, but honestly, if you can actually diagonal flip here, you don't even have to pick up this boost, but you can basically just rush and grab that boost there.
Hmm.
He's actually
Yeah.
he has a little bit more distance to the ball or to that boost there. So if you can beat him, you have a pretty good opportunity to turn around and go for the ball by the time it rolls this way. So I'd say your first priority now, especially because he's behind it, and then the chance of him actually turning around and making a play on you is pretty slim with the basically zero boost that he will have by the time he gets there. So you should definitely be in a boost race with this guy.
Got you.
Because now any chance that you had of, in terms of the momentum from winning the kickoff just goes out the drain now. Because
Hmm.
now you're already reset. So what's the point of winning a kickoff if you're not going to take the advantage of it? Okay, so all right, so here's where the defensive positioning already comes into play. So I'm gonna
Hmm.
actually back up just a second. So generally speaking, okay, I'm gonna talk just in more generalities, but you can kind of see what I'm talking about here in this replay, in this play specifically. So obviously in this case, we have the ball coming in on the right side of the field, right? So think of there being a line between the ball and the goal at any given point, right? Where we have the goal line here. Say the ball is coming, on the right side of the field, and say you're dropping back. Ideally, I'm not saying this is law, and I'm not saying that this should always be followed every time. But generally speaking, I find it a lot easier when you are shadowing this way that you can either at any point challenge quickly and turn around to go for a challenge if you think it's necessary or if you think you have a good challenge, or to simply keep going back and wait and shadow until you get to the goal line and make a goal line save. And the reason for that is because if you do what you're doing here and you cross this line here, now even if you shadow, if you're in the middle of the field, he can actually shoot either right or left, and you have to make the split-second decision of where to go. And now because you're straight backwards and your camera is facing this way, your controls are inverted, right? Right is left and left
Hmm.
is right. Especially if he shoots high, the likelihood of you actually being able to get that is probably goes out the window a little bit.
Yep.
So
Yep.
I would argue that if you're going to do this turn more, then turn around again. And the idea would be that, again, you would be parallel and the whole goal would be in front of you at that point. Because if you stick in this middle field, then he can basically go right or left and then still put it over you at any point, and it's way too complicated for you. Because then at this point, like now, if he shoots over here, then you have to kind of chase and you have to turn around. Or especially the worst case scenario would be like when you have to do this. Because then all he has to do is just do that.
Yep.
So
That
you just
makes
cut
complete
out
sense.
all the bullshit and just go, okay, I'm just going to shadow and either turn when I feel it's necessary, or the idea being that you go parallel with the goal line and you make a goal line save like that. So I'm sure this exact scenario will come up a lot again in the future, but I'll point it out because yes, it's not always bad that you rotate like this and you cut this line. It's actually really good if you want to cut off space. Um, so say you did one of these, but then you would either want to do one of these and shadow again, and then you still have like the whole goal in front of you or to your left. Or you would do one of these and then you would rotate back around and loop back around so the whole goal is in front of you either way. So,
Got
so
you.
there's that. So that's immediately what I notice now is because now if you go this way, now look how you have to cut back around.
Hmm.
It's a little awkward and it's still coming right at you. So, yeah. Solid hit. Okay. I like the fact that you wait. Obviously, you have to worry about the threat here, right? So this is not a good time to challenge because he has the ball on top of his car. The second he
Hmm.
gets rid of it, honestly, I would argue that this would be a decent time to turn and challenge anyways. because this ball is not magically just going to shoot over your head, right? And he's not going to immediately have this huge threat of just popping the ball over you. So I would argue if you just turn right away, even if you don't get the first touch, you'll actually be able to redirect it. Like you said with your kickoffs, you're pretty decent at challenges. If you can just get
Hmm.
behind the ball, you have 100 boosts. So even if you turn around and challenge with 70 or whatever, by the time you hit the ball, you'll have a pretty decent hit, I think. Not always that you need to get the first touch, but I would argue that even if you still go for this, you'd have a pretty decent hit. But
Right.
being patient, obviously knowing that he doesn't have the ball on top of his car and he's just basically going to hit it into you. Really good at being patient here. Yeah, I would argue, again, this would be the second time where you don't know where he is. I would just beeline it for the boost.
Hmm.
Then it forces him to back off, and then you have boost and ball. Then you can turn around. So yeah, the second time now
Oh,
that you should,
interesting.
second time now that yeah you prioritize the boost, but you don't
He
know where
beats me
he's
here, I
at. Yeah,
think.
he
Yeah.
does. I think
Yeah.
not always that you will beat him, but now imagine if you boost right now down to the
Hmm.
ground, pick up this pad, and even if you flip or anything, right,
Mm.
just keep
Hmm.
going. You should beat him to this boost. That's your first priority.
Yeah. Okay.
Because yeah, look how long it takes you to land and then still boost after it. Whereas if you did it earlier, I'm not saying you would have won for sure, but it
Hmm.
should be your goal. Because yeah, now the fact that you gave him that boost, even if you have a decent hit here,
Now he can play
he's
this.
still
Yeah.
yeah he can still have an opportunity. There's one thing that I'll talk about too. Yeah, I'm sure later on is actually
Hmm.
getting the good ball height or matching the ball height, right? I like the fact that you actually hit this ball on the underside. You know that that's probably the best way to actually pop this and get a
Hmm.
pretty decent threatening shot. But the
Yep.
problem is that you flip too early, and I'll show this right here. You're almost hitting this with the actual top of your car right here. You're not
Hmm.
entirely hitting it with the front.
Yep.
Ideally, you would be going forwards and you would jump earlier and then you'd be hitting it with the literal front of your car. So that way, when you front flip through the ball, it's
Right.
way harder.
At
The
that speed,
fact
it can easily be a shot on
it
net.
was literally, yeah, this was literally scoreable from here, from this
Hmm.
position. So the fact that you actually flip, and this is, I find, what I find my teammate in this program, Demon Blood Art, he's like Champ 3, GC1 right now with me in twos. And
Hmm.
he literally does the same thing a lot. He will rush his hits a lot and he hits the top of his car. So he loses all the power and all the possession and all the boost that he has and then he just doinks it, right?
Yep.
So yeah, it's all about that efficiency. And we'll go over that. I have perfect drills to kind of go over that.
I,
So
I, I'm glad that you're calling this out because the first thing I picked for myself to drill was power shots. So I've
awesome.
spent the last like 2 days in custom training with those.
Okay, perfect. Yeah, I've got honestly really even just one exercise that'll be perfect for that sort of thing.
Awesome. Yeah. Appreciate it.
All right. Honestly, most of the time, I would argue that this would be good, better to like if this was farther back in the midfield. I would almost argue that this would be better to catch it in with car cam. But obviously, since you don't know where he's gonna spawn, you can see him in your vision the whole time. It's actually
Hmm.
really good. Yep, I like that challenge. You don't entirely commit, and you take his boost, and you take ball possession. There you go. Good. Honestly, if you
I needed
can,
a softer touch there, I think.
actually, so let me go like freeze frame. Okay, so instead of hitting this kind of where you did,
Hmm.
I would actually this is very I don't want to say very mechanical, but this is very like split second decision making, right? So the difference is that when you hit this ball on the right side and you try to hit it this way so that you can grab the boost and follow it, it forces
Hmm.
almost forces you to hit it across field or like boom it out center, right? Try to get a clear or something. I think if you can actually force this ball to go along the corner, if you actually kind of grab this boost, wrap around, hit this side of the ball, you can actually diagonal flip here. So that way you grab this boost, the ball comes this way, you pick up the boost here, you hit the ball here,
Right.
you flip this way. It actually forces the ball to roll along the corner. You can actually pick up this boost and you can either, go like this and catch it to where you keep ball possession out this way, or you flip it this way, then you can meet it and you can either clear it out mid, like just off this 45-degree angle here, or you can go out this way off the sidewall. You actually prevent it from even going towards your net unless it's a very controlled manner. Whereas now, if you just simply force it to this wall, it's like, okay, you either clear it across field or you clear it out. right?
Mm-hmm.
Otherwise, you might, if you hit it too far left here, you might risk it. If you don't touch the ball, it might just go straight in front of your net. So you got to watch out for hitting it too far left here.
Man.
So does that make sense? As far as keeping it in your
Yes.
corner, that's exactly where you want to keep it,
Dude,
right?
the yellow line delivers. That's all I got to say about it.
Yeah. I hope it helps because yeah, I really
No, it's like it makes the whole experience,
Yep.
honestly.
Yeah. So see now you're forced to make a decision, and this
Mm-hmm.
I know I can cheat. I can see I can see
Yep.
the timeline on the bottom. He scores off of it, and that's all because you hit it to the left side of the boost instead of in the corner. That's all it was. It made it
Hmm.
so hard for you. You weren't
Yep.
really helping yourself. Decent. I would flip there. Yep. There you go. Okay, so here's a little thing, a little adjustment that might make all the difference. You already
Mm-hmm.
know that you're going to be flipping and landing basically almost on the boost. At this point,
Right.
I would turn ball cam on right now because
Mm-hmm.
that split second decision will know you'll have more info for you to work off of. You will know that
Right.
he's still dropping back at this point. Then by the time you pick up this pad, that he's still dropping back. That at this point you will have more info for longer that you can know, okay, can I challenge here? Okay, can I fake challenge and go back? Or is he bringing
Mm-hmm.
it across? Then can I cut him off? Or do I have to challenge and go this way for his boost, right? There's all sorts of these situations. But
Right.
you will be able
Yep.
to read this play way earlier and you'll be able to see what's happening with not only him, but also happening with the ball. And you'll be able to read that earlier. It's all about just helping yourself and giving yourself the most amount of info possible to make better decisions. I
Yep.
often find that a lot of plat players and lower ranked players, it's not that they make bad decisions, it's that they don't give themselves enough info to make good decisions. If that makes any sense.
That makes a ton of sense.
Oftentimes, honestly, the biggest thing that I found with my last coaching session is that the guy that was previous to you in this coaching session found that he was often under the ball too much. I'm going to draw a very crude octane here with four wheels, right? Okay.
Mm-hmm.
That you get the idea that he's under the ball too much and his field of view was like this. Well, at that point,
Mm-hmm.
especially if you're the defender on this blue side, if you're underneath the ball, you don't have a lot of info. Your field of view is straight up. So you're kind of forcing yourself to go for the ball, go for a clear on defense, right? Whereas if you
Yeah.
stay back like this and you give yourself more field of view like this, straight forwards, then you have more info to work off of. You make a more informed decision
Mm.
that
Yep.
way.
That makes perfect sense to me.
Okay, yeah. I like the bump here. I almost wish that if you're gonna push up, you almost want to be deliberate in which way you want him to go, right? So if you push up, I'm gonna kind of go into fly view for a second.
Mm-hmm.
So if you push up, I would have liked you to have actually stayed along this way and kind of go this way, right? Then it forces him because he's not likely going to turn around and bring it straight to you or to try to go up the wall like this, right?
Mm-hmm.
It'll
Right.
force him to go out this way, especially now the fact that you go this way. Well, now he might actually try to cut it behind you. He might have more room to do that, or he might try to go this way. But like, you don't want to give him that option. You kind of want to be deliberate. You're already by the time you push up, you're already limiting his options, and you're actually making it easier for you to read. So that
Mm.
way, now if you come in this way from the boost in just a slight angle, right, angle change, right? It's very
Mm-hmm.
slight, but now you would force him to catch it and go out this way. Then you know exactly what he's doing the whole way through. And you can either race into his boost or you can drop back if you need to. This
Mm.
is so much
Right.
easier to read. Whereas if you had, even to make it more egregious, if you just sit here, well, then he can go wherever the hell he wants,
Yeah.
right? If you give him the space. So why not
Right.
eliminate that threat already from the side? That's why you actually often see a lot of people already chilling on the wall here on the side when somebody's about to go and they like say the ball is rolling and the ball is here and the guy's pushing out from his net. You already see
Mm.
somebody like especially the first man on the wall already in higher levels because then they know if they go up the wall, they're just going to bring it to him and he's going to get dunked most likely.
Right.
So you
Mm.
already cut off the position here. First man, especially in twos and threes, doesn't always need to get the ball. He's already just eliminating the possibility that it's going to be on the wall. So the second man, so say he's number one, number two guy down here knows, okay, that guy's on the wall. If he doesn't go up the wall, I need to be ready to make a challenge within this span of time, where within this
Right.
area. So
Right.
then the second man is already more informed because he knows that the first guy is not going to go on the wall up the wall. So then he knows, okay, well, it's probably going to come to me. So that's the kind of like limiting of positions and already limiting what the opponent is doing that you may not even be thinking about. But I think coming in from the side angle here would probably be more appropriate.
Yeah,
So that way
that
it
makes a lot of
forces him to
sense.
go out this way. It's just so much easier to read.
In my mind, it was like apply pressure by threatening a power shot, but it's already bouncing away from me,
Yeah, and
so
look
that's
how
not actually an option.
yeah, look how close this is to his backboard. And look, you're coming at it straight up, and he almost, I mean, look, he's already turning around and trying to bring it back this way.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas if you
Yep.
come this way, he wouldn't have probably even thought of doing that. He would have probably just brought it straight across.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, no, look. Now you're trying to cut off the angle because now by the time he tries to bring it back this way, now you have to try to cut this off. Well, now he's like, all right, well, I'm not bringing it to you. I'm just gonna go this way.
Yep.
So you don't have to play this mind games all the time. Just cut off the angle in the first place, force him to go one way, and it'll be just so much easier to read. Ooh, okay. This, honestly, good hit here. I like the turn. If you actually, this is such a, I don't want to say a nitpicky thing, but if you actually power slide here,
Mm-hmm.
this is shootable.
Yep.
If you hit, especially if you can do your air roll shots like with the left corner of your
I
car,
I
this is
absolutely cannot, but I power slide like a motherfucker, so
this is shootable.
this is good
You don't
advice.
even need to air roll, but it would be ideal. And we'll go over that
Mm,
again. This is part of the shooting that I will definitely talk about in free play after this.
yeah.
But this is
I
shootable right
I
here.
I very much like power slide and I like using the mechanic, but when to use it is sometimes elusive in the moment, you know?
Yeah. So
I think it's like making the decision early enough is hard for me.
yeah. Okay, I'm not gonna lie. I think this is way out of whack. Okay, so you're driving at the ball, but you're hitting this
Mm,
really hard, like as it's
yeah.
bouncing. I'm just thinking in my head, okay, you got a good touch here. Okay, power slide. Okay, if you can't get a touch to the net, now you slow down. Okay, this would be the time where now if I can't get a good hit, I don't want to just hit this hard because I know I'm just gonna doink it away this way. So
Mm,
instead, what I would do is power slide and go parallel with the ball this way. So that way, even if he challenges me, I am a brick wall and I have
mm,
a decent chance of 50-50ing. If he
mm,
goes back, then I can just keep going along with the ball this way. I can kind of catch it. I would take ball cam off and just power slide here and try to catch this underneath or at least stay behind it. The fact
mm,
that you don't have in the key here is to just try to keep possession and try to keep as much control of the play as you can. Because now at this point you don't have much control.
mm,
Right? There's a chance that if he has 100 boost, he would already be tackling this. Like I could see a champ player easily just being like, "Oh, dude, this guy doesn't have control at all. I'm just gonna steal it from him."
mm,
So I think the fact that this guy only has 30 boost is what makes you not challenged until right now. So I think if you actually just keep control for a little bit longer, you probably could have just flicked him right away, and that might have even
right.
been a goal, even at this scenario. So I like your little wave dash, and I like the fact that you take a challenge. It does show me that you do play ones. um. Okay, so I do think this is another scenario where the drift catches can come into play, where if you
Mm,
take off ball cam at the right moment, you can actually kind of catch this in a swooping motion with the very left side of your car, to where you catch it
mm,
right here on the left side of your car, and you can basically just
mm,
drive this straight in with 100 boost.
mm,
Again, that's a control thing, right? But
mm,
you opt to obviously go for the almost the safer play if you're not confident in it, that you just cleared out. You have 100 boost, you can follow it, right?
right.
But I think that might have been scoreable. If anything, I would almost say use your two-touch training in this case too. Okay, either if you want to get rid of the ball, your best options are obviously hit it straight in net. That's number one.
Mm,
The second option is that you do hit it like softly, and then you power shot it into net, right? So that's number two, that you're able to get a soft touch and then slam it in. That's number two. Option
mm,
number three is that you hit it straight sideways and do your two-touch training into net. That's option three.
yeah. I never go for that option actually in game, I think.
I think that you would have had the opportunity here. The only difference is that you flip left. If you flip right, you would have gotten it to the wall. If you flip right here, you're actually killing the momentum because it's already going to the right slightly. If you flip right, it's kind of like a kickoff actually, in the fact that
Mhm.
you are keeping momentum with your car along with the ball.
Right.
So that's the idea here. So that way, if you flip right, you'll actually land, somewhere around here. The ball will land roughly here and bounce off, and then you can just use your 70 boost, and then again just shoot it straight on net.
Mm.
And,
Yeah.
and the only difference here is the flip. Instead of flipping left, I would flip right. Okay. Um. hmm. Okay. First thing, obviously, you want to avoid the demo. So I like the fact that you go on the wall. You avoid the demo, but I would still slow down as you go up the wall. I
Mhm.
don't think your opponent would likely be to chase you. I think he's more than likely going to be going for the boost anyways. So if you take it and go up the wall, he's more than likely just going to be driving straight back for his boost and kind of doing this, right? So I think once you realize that you're up the wall and you're safe, just brake and turn off ball cam, right? Go for a catch. Just make it super easy on yourself and just try to go for a flick in maybe.
Mhm.
Um, I think the fact that you're trying to keep up the play and you're trying to watch out for a demo, maybe, you're going way too fast for your own good either way.
Yep.
And now again, you're keeping ball cam on. That's a catch that you missed, whether you like it or not. This is super
Mhm.
awkward. Look, your car is blocking the circle. Turn ball cam
Yeah.
off. Go for the catch. You'll know exactly where the front of your car is this
Yep.
entire time. And now it's super awkward. You're basically hitting it into him. I'm surprised you didn't get dunked. Nice power slide. Good threat. Okay. Hmm. Yep, good. Honestly, I would turn ball cam off here. And again, that's what I would do. I like to, once you have your line on the boost and you know you're going to get it for sure,
Mhm.
turn ball cam on a little earlier because then you'll know. Because at this point, you don't know where he's going, right? He could
Yep.
be falling up the wall with you. He could just be trying to beeline it straight to your net. You have no idea. So
Yeah.
it's that little bit of info because then at this point you'll know if you can turn up the wall or not, or if you have to turn back really quickly. Do one of these and cut and make a save, or just drop back and go for like a goal line save, or if you could turn up the wall and make a challenge. I mean, you don't know anything at this point.
Mhm. Yep. Makes complete sense.
So yeah, by the time he gets to it, and by the time you turn ball cam on, it's like, oh shit, he's coming at me really quick. Good challenge. Okay, there's a lot of puff in the boost here.
Mhm.
Just hold on to it. Like, he's not making a challenge on you. Um, I'd say the 5 head, like the 500 IQ play here, right now, reverse
Mhm.
cam or use your camera to look backwards to see if he's dropping back or not. If he's coming for you, then yeah, boost and go around and try to hit the ball or whatever you need to do, right? Try to not get demoed, right? But again, there's that information gathering. Again, you don't know what he's
Right.
doing.
Yep.
The 5 head play would be to see where he's at, then just either take the ball slow or just go fast up the wall and then go from there.
Mhm.
Because, yeah, he's pressuring you, but now he's got 0 boost. He's not even a threat, and look what you're doing. You're wasting. There was 75. Now you're down to 60. You're puffing the boost. You're lucky you got that mid. And you could have,
I just rushed the
yeah,
whole
you're
thing.
rushing the play.
Yeah.
And then, yeah, now you're going mid, and you're doing the best you can. Decent touch. But you actually dropped it. Oof. Yeah,
Mhm.
decent try, I'd say, for what you had. But yeah, you're making plays with limited information. Okay, speaking of limited information,
Yep.
you don't know where the hell this guy is now.
This is like legit. I'm frustrated that shit didn't work, so I'm gonna fucking
Yeah.
whiff a dribble again.
Okay.
You know what
Yeah.
I mean?
Okay, yeah. So I'm just gonna keep the idea flowing that right. Like I said, a lot of this is down to the fact that it's not that you make bad decisions, it's that you don't have the
Mhm.
info you need to help yourself and make good decisions.
Yep. Yep.
Like I said at the beginning of this, that's probably what it is. And yeah, now you're frustrated. You're like, damn, I'm not executing well. It's like, okay,
Yep.
well, you're not helping yourself here. Okay,
Yep.
I like the boost grab. Now look, you have boost. Used it at a good time. You lined up the boost. You're making a more informed play. This would be a scenario where we talk about the threat potential, right? Or the
Mhm.
height potential of your opponent. Where Ranny
Mhm.
always says, okay, at any point, like this guy is obviously way closer to the ball. It's on his car. than you, and he can flick this at any point, or even literally just double jumping, and it will be over you, unless you make a fantastic like double jump, like pre-jump save almost, or tackle, right? But all he's got to do is just double jump, which is what he does.
Right.
So you're not really respecting your opponent's potential here. If this was rolling like it was earlier, because notice how when you challenged before, the ball was literally rolling this way, and then you were able to just turn around and make a challenge. This has now been the first time where he's had it on his car, and you're not respecting that whatsoever. So now, like I said before, here's the scenario. Let me go into fly view. Here's a scenario where we have the line from the goal. You're on the one side. It's not like you're sitting here, right? Because that would be super awkward. But you're not respecting his potential, and you're making a tackle when you shouldn't be. Whereas if you just make the goal line save, you would have known that he would have flicked it. And if you stay this way, the whole net is in front of you. Then all you need to worry about is just the timing of when to save it. But this is the first time that he's had it on his car, and you're not really respecting that. And look, I mean, you have a lot of distance here to cover. So obviously, yeah, not a smart move.
Yep.
I do like how you get in the center of the ball a lot on the kickoff. Really, really well done on the kickoffs there. I'm really surprised that this dude shoots it from here, because he's way far back. Holy. Okay. Yeah, so here's a situation where, notice, like, again, this is very exaggerated, but it's much easier for you to read because, look, you're on the left side of the play the whole time.
Right.
So you're on the left side. You're not crossing that line at all. Now, if you were sitting here, now if he shot here, you would have to turn around. So the fact that you're sitting on this side of the field the whole time, that you know the net is in front of you the whole time, that's what makes it super easy for you to know that this is not going in, for one, and the fact that it's just in front of you. You know, you're eliminating all of like the subconscious calculating that your brain has to do.
Yep.
So, whereas if you were sitting right here, it would be super awkward. And then if he shoots left, you have to go left, and it's actually your right side. It's it's actually left on your joystick, but you're going to your right side on your camera view because it's reversed, and all that bullshit. It's just like so much simpler, the fact that you're sitting here. So you're helping yourself out in this position, actually, and you don't even know it. Because, yeah, now it's just in front of you. Oh, my God. Okay. Yeah, that's a situation where I said before where, look at, from this time, from 257 to 254, I would argue almost 253 by the time it actually gets on the ground. That's 4 seconds, my guy, that you had no idea where he was at. That he's here, but now you have no idea where he's at.
Yep.
You don't know what the hell is happening. And you can barely read the freaking ball yourself. Look at, you're barely catching up to it, and you're pushing it down. It looks like you actually had a pretty decent follow-up, but, like, man, this is way too complicated. So imagine, I'm just going to do a little hypothetical here. Imagine that you sit here for just a second, right? To know if he's either going to challenge. I would argue, actually, you know what? I would say, again, the 5-head play here. Let this ball roll, steal the boost, turn back, and do a little turn like this. Cover the net first. Obviously, your first priority is to not get scored on, and to make sure that if he challenges, you have to be ready. But I would argue that, yeah, you grab this boost. You could even do like a large circle like this if you wanted. So that way, by the time it rolls down, you can just take it straight. But now imagine, yeah, instead of staying, like I said before, instead of staying underneath the ball, you stay away from it. Well, now look how much easier is that to read right now. You know exactly where it is. You know where it's going to land. You know where he's at. Not saying that you have to sit here the whole time, but you see the POV difference, right? Your field of view is so much farther down than looking like this the whole time.
Yep.
Like, I like the skies and stuff too, but I'm not really into bird watching in the autumn. That's not my thing. So, yeah.
Yeah, stuff to do.
Yeah. I will say you make up for it. You actually hit the timing of the drop pretty good. Okay, yeah. This has now been the second time though that you took it up off ball cam, but you tried to get the cut, and I don't know if you meant to actually catch this or not. It looks like you did. And
Mm-hmm.
keep this on your car. But
Most likely I
it's
did.
been the second time now that that's come up, so we'll cover
Yep.
that too in free play after this. Because yeah, you've failed to keep it on your car and be threatening whatsoever. I mean, you notice like I'm sure you can even tell watching this back that like you don't have very good control here, right? You're not
Mm-hmm.
very threatening whatsoever. So yeah, that's about all you can really do. Your play is done.
Yep.
Ooh, okay. I would argue that again. Here's the ball is bouncing. Your opponent is underneath it. This has now been the second time where you're challenging, where you're not really respecting your opponent's potential here. Even the fact that this is bouncing. Look, if he got a failed touch here. Imagine if he got a double jump like he did earlier. This would be over your head.
Mm-hmm.
This has been
Yep.
now the second time in probably a minute that he's done this, and you're still challenging. And you got scored on the first time. Wow. Okay, so a couple things. Turn. Oh, I didn't mean to click there. Turn down the other way.
Yep.
That's my point. This is totally scoreable for you. Yeah, turn down this way and then just shoot it straight. The fact that you actually turn and you do one of these, you know, like that, it's
Mm-hmm.
fine. But this is also scoreable. Even what you did here. Look at, you're still in line with it. This is still scoreable. Hit this with the front left of your car and drive at it this way and hit it right here on the ball. And just if you do a left diagonal flip, the idea is that you're hitting, you know, through the ball, right? You're propelling the ball forwards this way. So this is 100% scoreable.
Yep.
Second time now that
100%.
that's happened. Ooh, okay. Again, it's more, I'd say more substantial here. Because now look, you don't know where he's at. You can barely keep the ball control now on this. Try to shoot this. Like, that wasn't a very good shot. Like, yeah, you got it on the bounce, but you're staying so close to it. Even the hit that you got was terrible.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So again, if you're gonna stay this close to the ball, I would argue turn ball cam off, and even if you wanted to just front flip or double jump, hit it with the back end of your spoiler, right? Or you could just catch it, just pop it with the literal like middle of your car. You know, you have
Mm-hmm.
more options, or you can just dribble it and go for a low 50-50 if you drop it off your car, right? You have more
Yep.
options that way, but you'll be more informed because you're only looking like this. You're not
Mm-hmm.
looking at him where he's at on the field, right? You don't have a whole lot of info right now because you don't know if he's challenging. You don't know what. You can barely keep ball control, let alone anything
Yep.
else. So, yeah, that's come up a bunch of times now.
Yeah, I think that was an example of me trying to implement the old bounce dribble.
Ah, gotcha. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I can really tell that you've only done a really decent catch like once, but yeah, look at you're just super awkward anytime the ball is bouncing. Pretty decent at power slide though, I will say. But yeah, look, now that's like 2 times in 2 seconds. You tried to either catch the ball or get a hit where it's a little awkward. You're looking like all over the place.
Yep.
All right, I got a bunch of stuff. Yeah, we got a lot we can talk about in free play. I will say I'm not gonna lie. So far, your kickoffs have been pretty decent for what it's worth. Um, so I'm kind of glad that you proved me wrong. I'm not gonna lie. I was expecting when you said, "All right, I win kickoffs a lot," that I was expecting to call bullshit on that. But you do pretty well for what you're given, honestly. Um,
Thanks.
so yeah, I would like to add though, I'm not gonna give you 100% brownie points on that. Obviously, that at the higher ranks, that kickoff will not fly at all. Like GC lobbies, people will just speed flip past you, especially if you're only flipping once. You're not going to be able to get there fast enough. You're going to need to flip at some
Yeah,
point.
I play some private games with a GC1's buddy of mine, and I find that against people that can speed flip consistently, I have to like play to hit second
Right.
every kickoff.
Yeah. And if you play to hit second every time, you're not obviously hitting it in the direction that you want first. So
Right, and
you're
you just
always
get beat
playing.
sometimes no matter what.
Yep.
So
Exactly. So I hope
yeah,
you know that you're playing second every time, so you're already playing a losing battle right off the bat.
yeah.
So
Hmm.
obviously, yes, the caveat that yeah, you may be winning kickoffs now, but if you go into high diamond, champ, high iChamp, especially into GC, yeah, people will hit speed flips and stuff like that consistently where, yeah, they'll be able to adjust and beat you entirely
Yep,
and beat you consistently. So, yep, something to know.
definitely.
But yeah, wow. Okay. That was really well done, though. Praise where praise is due. That was insane. Okay. One of the things that
This
I
is the
find.
one kickoff I do a flip on, by the way.
Yeah, so, all right, actually, I'm going to talk about this. Not even just about what you did, but what other people do that is worse. So, what I find in my previous coaching session is that the guy would grab this boost pad, but he would jump and tilt to the side and try to do like almost a diagonal flip or a speed flip. Then go back like this, but he would overcorrect and he would land off to the side, so he would have to kind of correct again. Right? It looks very S-like and looks very jagged, right? Especially when he
Yeah.
can't execute very well. So, why do all of that? Especially when the speed flip in this situation is almost entirely pointless because you can actually afford to boost forwards more through this front flip. And
Yep.
you have so much time by the time you reach the ball that it's entirely negligible to do a speed flip here versus a front flip even. So, like if I do a speed flip and I try to do this as fast as possible, I guarantee you I would have very little chance of getting a very good kickoff on you compared to if you just front flipped, right? Just because the difference here is negligible, whereas especially because you're already straightforward. So I like the fact that you just front flip on this. It just cuts out all the bullshit, cuts out any possible mistakes that you have from either not executing a side flip or a diagonal flip or a speed flip or whatever, right? It just cuts out all that
Yep.
when you don't need it. So, yep, I like
I
the
score
fact that
so
you did
many
that.
free goals on people flying by the ball. On this one
I'm sure.
specifically.
Yeah. 'Cause people think they need to do it all the time. I will say I am insanely impressed that you were able to not only get really good contact on the ball, but you saved 30 boost, and by the time you land, you're already doing a 180. So credit where credit is due. That is probably the most impressive thing that I've seen out of this replay so far.
Thanks.
Ooh, unfortunate. No boost grab there. Let me see.
I was on the fence about whether to take the middle one there.
Honestly,
It
I
looks
think
like.
at this point when you land, if you front flip, I think you have it still. I think you have this boost grab. I don't think I don't think you were greedy enough. I think grabbing that boost is not a good idea because he just grabbed your 100. Okay. Again, I'm just going to point out what you did well here. Credit is where credit is due. Like I said, sitting in mid right now is not the play because now, look, the entire net is behind you. Super awkward. Even now, the entire net is forward, is literally forwards in front of you, but it's actually still behind you. You have to turn right.
Yep.
And, you know, still at this point, even if he shoots on the right side or even in the middle, you actually have to turn around and make a save this way. At best case scenario. So yeah, that was good. But what you did really well was actually going to the left. So you cut off and you do your rotation, like I said before. You go parallel with the goal, and you realize it's very easy for you to read. Okay, it's over the net. If you needed to go for a save, it's literally just right in front of your car. So I like that you did that really well. That was good. See, now you can follow it. That was good positioning. There you go. I think your power slide is maybe a little too gnarly here. You have like supersonic speed. I don't think it's smart to be supersonic speed throughout like your turn and stuff like that. So I think it's good that you power slide and you slow down, but I think it might be a little too much. I'd say almost just use your brake and just slow down and turn around and then do one of these.
Gotcha.
I think going on the wall here, I think maybe what a lot of people would do is just stay supersonic, especially at lower ranks, is just go on the wall and then turn back or something like that, because then you're entirely out of the play. You're not even guarding the net. You're not even a threat. So I like the fact that you stay relevant, and again, you're on the same side of the ball as the ball. So you come across at it. Now you're the net is in front of you again the whole time, and you make your challenge when you need to. Execution wasn't there, but it's very easy for you to read, right? Again, yeah, if you were sitting in midfield, well, now what if he cuts this way? Well, then you actually have to turn around and go for a save this way. So yes, you're doing really well so far on this kind of positioning. Oftentimes I find that more people have a struggle with that. Okay, I think at this point, when the ball is pushed up this far in the net, your first priority should be to not chip this off the sidewall, because then not only are you basically giving up ball possession, but you potentially set him up for a shot once it bounces out, because then it might land somewhere around here, and then all he's got to do is just turn and just chip it straight in your net, right? You're basically setting him up for a straight shot on net. So ideally, I would say the best case scenario is that you actually take this ball to your corner and you grab boost, because that way it forces him to back off if he's smart. So I think you're probably a little too greedy on trying to just even hit the ball. Your first priority to just stay behind the ball. Just stay behind it, knowing that like, okay, as you're trying to like almost swipe at it, it sounds like, or it looks like you're trying to hit it to the corner, but like you're not there yet.
Yep.
So, yeah, you're just trying to hit the ball, but wow, you got a jump reset there. But yeah, you're not quite there yet. If anything, even if you don't get it to the corner, take it to your back wall, but like stay behind it, right? So you can actually still just like let this roll up and then just still follow it like this. That's still an option. If anything, or literally just do one of these and park your ass right here and just wait for it to roll. I mean, you're obviously almost giving up the ball, and he might turn and do something like that. But like, yeah, I think you're almost just taking yourself out of the play too much by just trying to swipe at it. Like it was greedy, if I can put it in simple terms.
Yeah.
Because yeah, now you wasted a lot of boost and you didn't quite execute on it. And again, you're being even more greedy. You're already in like a greedy mindset now. The fact that you swiped at it. Because now you missed it. Now you're like, oh shit, no, now I have to hit the ball. Well, no, you don't. That's not in a threatening position whatsoever. Look where the ball is. So now the fact that you're already, you're just fucked. You're in the wrong mindset now. You're like, oh shit, I got to hit the ball. So now you hit the ball. Now you are triple fucked. You jumped. That is the worst thing you could do in this situation is jump.
Yep.
I would have preferred if you actually just drove your ass on the ceiling would be my preparation here. But the fact that you jump off the wall, now you literally have zero. I'm going to put a line through that. Zero fucking positioning, like zero control, especially with 6 boosts, my guy. Like, holy. The fact that you jump here is the worst thing you could have done.
Yep.
And it should have resulted in a goal. Welcome to Platinum. Holy shit. I want to watch that from that guy's perspective because holy shit. Okay, he should have taken your boost. Okay, yeah. Okay, so here's a similar situation where, again, if you line the front of your car up, literally, he doesn't have to do anything. He's just got to sit underneath the ball. Doesn't have to jump. It'll literally just land on his car and go right in and roll in.
Yep.
Taking off ball cam, kids. Take off ball cam every once in a while. Do it more. Oh my god. Ooh, I'm gonna feel that next week. Jesus. Oh yeah, that boost grab was crazy, but the fact that he didn't get it. But oh my god, that was insane. Ooh, okay. See how awkward that was? There's the difference. Yep. 100%. I don't even have to point it out at this point. You get it. You're in the midfield. You're good right here. Turn around.
Yep. Just turn.
Do a J turn, then do this. The whole net will be in front of you. The fact that you go mid. Yeah. Now he can go wherever he wants. Yep. And look, he went behind you. Because you have to guess. It's 50-50.
Yep.
And that's the first time you did that, by the way. And you got scored on. Ooh, okay. So, I think, yeah, okay, it's like basically a 50-50 whether he goes for his boost or the mid boost. If he goes for the mid boost, now look, the fact that this is rolling this way, it's going to go this way, then just beeline it for his boost. There's no threat. Like, he's not magically just going to get around a turn like this. He's not GC2, right? He's not magically just going to turn and just get a quick roller into your net or whatever. He's not that good.
Right.
So, yeah, the second, you basically have to be like, okay, if he goes for his boost, then you take mid. If he goes for mid, then you take his boost. That's basically what it boils down to. But now the fact that you give up, again, you basically had almost a win on this kickoff. But you already now, this is the second time that you want to kick off one in quotes. But now look, he took mid. He's going to take his own. Now he has ball possession in his own corner. This is the best situation for him to be in the whole game. Set up from his corner with space. Yeah. Now look, you committed and you got scored on because of it. All because of the kickoff. That all did not need to go like that had you just stayed with the play more. That's been the second time that that's happened. I also want to mention, look where you're challenging from the mid here. Like now look, you crossed that line.
Yep.
Now because you didn't go, you have to literally turn your ass around and look how awkward that is, and you can't make the time. So there you go. Now that's been the second time in a row that you challenged kind of going mid, and you can't cover for it.
Yeah.
It's been 2 for 2 now that you got scored on. You did so well earlier. You literally saved almost every ball actually that he came at you with up until these last 2 challenges. There you go. I like the threatening. Take his freaking boost, please. Thank you. Okay, yeah, power slide was maybe a little unnecessary. You're sliding around. It's not hockey.
Yep.
Just turn ball cam on right now. You would know exactly where the ball is. But look, now you don't know where until the last second. There's that little bit of difference. You would have known that he was losing ball control had you kept ball cam on. And you would have known all you had to do was just drive. You could have driven this in.
Yep.
There's that information difference again. But now you weren't able to capitalize on it quick enough. Okay. Yeah, take his boost again if you can. Honestly, I wouldn't mind if you just flipped into this. Like you can flip into this now.
Ditch the ball in the corner.
Yep,
go
ditch
take
the ball
it.
into the corner. Honestly, if you were behind the ball, say you were positioned right here, I wouldn't mind if you front flipped and actually got this ball like somewhere in this area. Then take this boost and just kind of be behind the ball. So I wouldn't mind if you hit it here and then just turn and go for his boost this way. I wouldn't mind that either.
Right.
Because then it still forces him in an awkward spot. You know, you want to be a little bit more greedy here.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. Now you left him the boost. You have very little. Now you try to execute on a play and you're screwing yourself.
Desperation. Yeah.
Yep. Now half flip. Okay, your half flip is decent. You cancel too early. Okay, I think my most popular video on my YouTube channel is my half flip tutorial. And I think I'm not going to brag, but I think it's got like 40K views.
Oh shit.
Yeah, it's done pretty well. And I think in that video I actually had my controller overlay, and I actually explained in that this symptom right here is because you cancel too early. Because look, you don't let your backflip carry you through the flip. You actually cancel it midway, so now you're halfway up by the time you cancel it. So you turn over and you're not even landing on all fours.
Yeah. Specifically, just
awkward.
drilling out some half flips and wave dashes is another stretch thing I've been doing exactly that reason.
Well, I'm not gonna lie. I also think it's probably symptomatic of you being stressed here and you wanting to execute. You're trying to be too quick now. Now you're like, oh shit, I gotta get back. Gotta be really quick. You're not thinking with a cool head at this point, obviously. So you're fucked. You have low boost. You just gave up ball possession. You're like, fuck. This is the time I have to execute and I can't. It's frustrating. I get it. And now you missed the boost. You have to turn around. You have to power slide. You're just like, all right, fuck. I'm going for it. Fuck this guy. So, yeah, I can totally tell. Holy. Okay. You're in a good spot. A little too hard of a hit. Yeah, now your execution is just out the fucking window. Again, focus on catching it. This would be a similar situation. So instead of having the front of your car underneath the ball to actually just like roll it in, you would have the front of your car more underneath it, so that way you can catch it and keep going with the ball together. So, but again, there's that depth perception. Now you're fucked. You're like, all right, I gotta execute. I gotta go quick, and you get a poor touch. And oh my god, yeah, I don't know what you're jumping at, but okay, so there's the idea that again, you're jumping, right? It's one thing like if you were to jump and then flip now and like still hit this with like this side of your car and still push it a roller into net. That'd be one thing. But it's entirely different now, the fact that you literally just like clear this ball. So yeah, there's, like I said, matching the ball height, right? Not only when you like get a bouncer, so say we get a bouncer like this and you are coming up on it, you want to hit the underside of the ball to get the screamer in the top of the net. Now, the fact that this ball is bouncing or even rolling, Why are you jumping this early, dude? The best case scenario, obviously, if this is rolling, the best case
Mm.
scenario is you just fucking drive into it and you hit the underside of the ball. Then it will go up high. So if
Yep.
anything, just fucking rage hit it straight into his net. Right? So that
True.
would be the smarter option if you're even if you're frustrated, just fucking clanger it right at him. I bet you he wouldn't save that, to be honest with you. Look where he's positioned. He's not aiming towards the net. If you clanger this on the left side, I bet you that's scoreable.
Yep.
Oof. Okay, yeah. And your recovery is terrible. Okay. So you're landing here. You actually have to turn to your right. At this angle. It's reversed because you're going backwards. But you actually have to turn right to go out the top of the net. Then that way you will actually go out this way. And the
Yep.
second you're
Just
right
use
here,
your empty jump
you can
off
use
the
your
thing
you can
and
use your empty
rotate
jump.
over.
Or I would argue if you're on the top of the goal and you actually front flip, you'll actually be propelled out forwards more.
Yep.
You would use an empty jump to get down to the ground quicker, but I would argue that you actually need to get back faster. So I would actually front flip right here.
Yeah, that makes sense.
So yeah, the fact that you actually turn left, and again, this is a scenario that happens
Yeah.
if you're on even if you're on defense, right? That if you're going backwards, this is what I mean, where your lefts and rights are reversed, and you're like, fuck. Well,
Yep.
now you just made the wrong turn, and I'm totally surprised that you were able to get back to this. Honestly, this guy was fucking slow. Like, look at this. Yeah, he had a terrible touch. Now look,
Yeah.
even if he front flips, he has this goal, but he doesn't. He had terrible execution there, and that's the only reason you didn't get scored on.
I think you're witnessing full tilt on display here.
Yeah, I don't doubt it. I don't doubt it. Honestly, if you want to watch Full Tilt, we can go over one of my games if you want. I think I was like 8-1 myself, so
Oh, it's all good.
I'm not afraid to get my shit dished in too every once in a while.
This is why it's good to bang.
Yeah, I mean, honestly though, I'm happy that we can kind of go over this, right? That you can admit, right? You're like fucking tilted. You're like, all right, yes, but obviously you can kind of laugh at it, right? You're like, damn, like that was fucking stupid of me, right? But that's how we all get better, right?
For sure.
Okay, so I'm gonna kind of divert for a second. I'm gonna go back to my YouTube channel for a second. If anybody watching this is curious, I actually do have a coaching analysis that actually Coach Luke, Spook Luke, actually did of me in my own twos gameplay, actually. So if anybody wants to watch me get roasted, that's on my GCR playlist as well. Okay, this is still scoreable. You kind of have to be more reactionary here, but look, left corner, hitting the middle of the ball. You can still flip through this and score it. But if you have to do it immediately after he hits this ball, because now if you wait too long, he can go up and challenge this. So the second he hits this, you have to go up for it. This is still scoreable. Yep, this is scoreable. Look at this. All you gotta do is jump and just aim right, and you're good.
Yep.
Wow. Okay. Welcome to Platinum. Where whatever the hell.
It ended as pathetically as it should.
Yeah, exactly. Yep. And a strong kickoff to finish it. All right. Before we move on, do you have any questions about anything I said, or does anything I say not make sense?
No, it was all well said.
Okay, awesome. All right. Now that we roasted you for how long have we been doing this now? 1 hour. Let's go into free play and tell you how to get better.
Hell yeah.
All right, number one, probably the most important thing I would say as far as shooting stuff goes. Literally, I'd say it's almost better than the Coco's training. Go into free play, reset your shot, drive at the ball at various angles and various speeds, and press down on your D-pad to throw the ball up in the air. You can focus on getting shots like that. So that's the difference between the champ, the diamond gameplay, and then the GC shooting capabilities, right? Of being able to hit it with the corner of your car, because you're not always going to be able to get like a front flip shot on net, right? Being able to shoot like that, that's the difference between low tier gameplay and then the higher tier gameplay, is being able to shoot like this.
Yep.
see how much more powerful that was. And it's not only the speed, right? Because I mean, like, honestly, anybody can get like just a front flip shot at 60 miles an hour, but it's also the positioning, right? I'm using the corner of my car, I'm air rolling, I'm also matching the ball height, right? So we talk about like jumping and tilting back, matching the ball height, you know, whether that's actually being a ground or bounce shot where you want to stay underneath the ball, right? So if this is going to be a bounce shot, I don't want to jump early and flip into it because it's just going to hit the ground. You know, if I even take the shot and I jump too high, it's still going to be a ground shot. That's not what I want. I want to control it, air roll, stay underneath the ball, and then I get it straight in the net. Keep as much height as you can. You know, you can. It's basically as hard as you want to make it. Something like that. You know, you don't always have to score it. If you want to just do this wherever, just try to get as many powerful hits as you can. You can literally just do this over and over. Just press down on your D-pad. I'd say this is probably one of the most underutilized things as far as like shooting and stuff goes. It's like, dude, look at that.
Yeah.
So
that's slick.
I'm gonna leave. My
I hate
gameplay.
custom training packs specifically because it like cuts you in and out of the game.
Yeah.
I find that like very it's just like not pleasant, right?
Yeah.
This seems much better.
That's why I said I almost prefer this to Coco's training because it's actually more translatable and more applicable to like actually in game. The problem I have with most workshop maps is that the depth perception isn't there, right? Like you had the flat wall with Coco's training and you're just hitting a target. It's like, okay, well, how far is that actually in relation to like an actual goal, right?
Yep.
You can't tell, like, you know, at any point, is the green square going to be way the fuck up there? Or is it going to be like right in front of the, like right there, you know? Especially with the varied like wall distances and stuff, that's when it really gets screwy. So like, yeah, I would argue that this is much more applicable to in-game. Because, yeah, being able to hit a shot like that from downtown, from a half court, with especially, I'd say, I focus on not hitting the ground at all in the shot. Anytime you shoot, try to hit it without hitting the ground.
Yep, that makes sense.
And then even if, say you miss it, okay, well then go for the follow-up. Go for a two-touch. Go for a rebound, you know, whatever you want to call it. Like, there's always compounding stuff that you can do that all starts from being able to do this. Okay, say I miss it and I don't want to go for it. I go for a catch instead. Right? There's always these like compounding things that, yeah, it's, you know, we're just now learning about, like, okay, it's not always just going into free play and training. It's like how you train, right?
Yep.
So if I'm just
100%.
sitting here and doing free play shit and I'm just trying to freestyle, it's like, okay, well, when am I ever going to get this opportunity to do this kind of shit in the game? It's like not very often, especially at a higher level. So like, yeah, apply yourself more. Start by just hitting the ball on the target, on the net. Okay, if you miss, then, okay, now what's the next thing I can work on? Okay, now I can focus on catching this, okay? Turn ball came off. I get the catch. I get a controlled touch. I can take my boost. Now I can go like this. I can go for a wall shot, right? Whatever. You can build on things over time. One of the other things that I really like doing as far as pressing down is, yeah, going for those catches. Trying to get the touch to be as light as you can without hitting the ground. Over and over. You can do this at any time. Instead of shooting it, you go for the power slide catch, right? I haven't let it touch the ground at all yet. You can flick it. You can do whatever you want. You can actually go ahead of it if you want to be a baller. You can try to do like a little like touch like that. That's more that's more advanced. I wouldn't expect most people to be able to do that, but you get the idea. That okay, I cut behind it. I still go for a catch. Now I can go for like a dribble shot or a bounce shot. Sorry, but yeah, you can use the same exact down on the D-pad to go for multiple things. I can even literally just pretend it's a pass for my teammate. Okay, now I can do like that. That's a lot more controlled than like what you were doing, where you're just trying to like, okay, now I got a hit. Okay, well now I'm fumbling, and it just looks awkward. Like, you know, if you can utilize this one move on the down on the D-pad, there's so much that you can do with this. Honestly, I'd say the number one exercise though is literally just being able to shoot with the corner of your car, because then it gets you used to like the air roll shots. And it doesn't have to be very hard, right? You know, if you start off doing like something like this, then at least if you clip that, then you know, like, you have that sense of progression, right? Where you can be like, all right, damn, I got like a 70-mile-an-hour clanger into the net and it didn't hit the ground. Well, okay, that was good. You know, see if you can do it every time now, right? So there's there's a more obvious sense of progression that, yeah, okay, I got a 66, 67-mile-an-hour shot in the net at half court. Okay, try to do that as often as you can. there's like a more linear sense of progression there. So I think
This
that's
is a
more attainable compared to like Coco's training.
Yeah, I completely agree. I have found the Coco's training to be like it was what I was looking forward to the most because I know my shooting needs work in general,
Okay.
but I have not found it to be like a consistent growth factor in me shooting better. You
Right.
know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like it feels like, okay, can I hit the square way over on the right? All right, what did I just learn?
Right. Yeah. That's exactly what I mean. It's you're like, okay, well, now what? Like it doesn't
hmm
actually translate to game as well as I think it could.
Yeah,
Um so yeah.
that and measuring it as like your best streak seems sort of weird to me.
Yeah.
It's like It's like I don't know how getting 10 of those in a row means that you're like ready for the next level, but like I don't
Right.
mean to hate on it. It's been good to practice, right? But
Yeah. So yeah, honestly, I'd say that's probably the number one thing. Um all right. Next, I'm honestly I'm going to treat you like a freaking bronze for just a second if you bear with me. I'm going to kind of go through again my sense of progression. I'm going to start from the ground and work our way
Mhm,
up for just a minute. So obviously, if you're, I found that yeah, you had like really iffy ball control, right? So I'm just gonna start from the
mhm,
very beginning. Obviously, get the ball rolling in any direction and just go ahead of it, right? Take ball cam off and just focus on just driving into the ball. You don't need to jump or use boost or anything like that. You'll really just focus on getting ahead of it. You turn
mhm,
around, you were pretty decent at the power slide stuff. Then you just drive into it and try to go down the field if you can. Go from goal to goal. If you
mhm,
get really consistent at that, then okay, you can either try to do turns and try to do another length down the field, or what you can do is if you go into a private match, you can actually time yourself and just see how long you can go with, keeping the ball in your car. You kind of more for like the people that really like workshop maps and stuff like that. You have a more, again, a sense of progression that you can work towards. Either how many lengths of the field that you can work on or how long can you do it. Then
mhm,
I would also add on to that, I would work on not only picking up the ball from like head on, but also getting on the side of it. And we're going to really build off of this. So obviously the first thing is just to get on the side of the ball and match the ball speed. If you're too far ahead of it, you'll often not really be able to cut into it. And you'll kind of just
mhm,
be all over the place. If you go too fast or if you go too behind the ball, you're never going to get the ball in your car. You're just going to push it forwards. So there's a happy medium there. Again, being able to turn into it and getting the ball in your car. I would almost prefer if people turn too much because then you can get the ball on the other side of your car and then try it again over and over. Well,
mhm,
then now you can see there's the progression of just being able to go left and right. Again, I'm not using boost through this entire thing, by the way.
mhm,
Go as slow as you can, work on the control, and if you drop it, okay, get it rolling in a direction and go on the side of it. Now this is really where the hustle has to come into play because I know this is way too slow and it's not as fun as what I just mentioned earlier, but this is really where the minute ball control comes in that makes all the difference in the world. And
mhm,
I would say this is probably the number one thing as far as having this very minute ball control in general is what makes me a really good player. Like I used to have the world record for the longest dribble on my YouTube channel. I dribbled for over an hour and I did 99.9% of that without boost. I actually have
yep,
beaten Randy's dribble overhaul record on that so far.
mhm,
Don't tell him I said that because now he'll try to beat mine. Um, but again, I attribute that to my very good fine ball control. Being able to
mhm,
control the ball really well and being able to turn it with it. Being able to catch it, being able to use very little boost, and being able to just maneuver the ball very specifically where I want is important. And I think that's really what separates me from a lot of like other people. Um, so I would attribute that to like this very fine ball control here. So
mhm,
again, I would say one of the things that if you really target focus is that if you can do circles like this, see how many circles you can do. Again, no boost. It gets you really comfortable and really good friends with the ball. I'd like to say I am really good friends with the ball. I can really push it around as much as I want, and he won't yell at me or anything like that. He won't get
You
mad at
seem
me.
to have a great relationship, honestly.
Yeah, exactly. So yes, thank you. um, so yeah, see how many circles you can do without dropping the ball like this, and then if you're comfortable on one side, do the other side, right? And then do
Mhm,
circles, do figure eights, all that sort of stuff. And then again, this is really like where the grinding aspect might come into play.
mhm,
But again, I think this would be like again where you can still set goals and you can still do like daily trainings every day and say you do this for 5 to 10 minutes. Might be your stretch training or whatever. It could be
yep,
whatever you want. Or you could do this after the training if you have more time. Um, okay. Again, doing no boost. And then I'm really going to add on top of that now. We're going to really compound all these movements on top of each other. Now we're going to add side flip flicks. The reason I'm not telling you to do front flip flicks is because especially you'll find in ones that if you front flip flick, I'm getting rid of the ball. Now it's really hard for me to follow after it, right? Especially if I shoot at the net, right? If I front flip, obviously if I front flip flick it more, I have a really hard time. I'm basically saying, here you go, have the ball, try to get a save. Whereas now if I'm dribbling away from the net and he chose to challenge me, if I side flip flick, I can still catch it and then just drive it straight in his net. More realistically, though, at my high level, you want to add backflip flicks, being able to do this, and then follow it, and again, just catch it. I don't have to do anything; it just goes straight in. But yeah, being able to pick the ball up, like so, say it's rolling and the opponent is in the net, all I got to do is go like this and just flick it around him if he makes a challenge. Because then all I got to do is again just drive it straight in. You don't always have to have forward progression, and I think that's a lot of things. A lot of times, that what a lot of people think is that they always have to be aiming at the net. But if you're really efficient, and why I say to not use boost in this stuff, is that say I use 20 boost to do this. Well, now he's flying past me. Now I have 80 boost to drive it straight in the net like this.
Right. Yeah.
So, again, even if you're coming down from downtown from your field, you do a side flip flick. Now look, I can still catch it. And say I mess it up, I can literally fuck around as much as I want and turtle boost this in with 80 boost, 75 boost, 70 boost, 50 boost even. I can just get it past him as long as you do it smart and you get the right timing. That's all that really matters. That's why I really try to not tell people to do front flip flicks. If you can do back flip flicks and side flip flicks consistently, then man, that will literally propel you to like next level. Right there. Being able to pick the ball up with very little boost like this when you have time, when you have space, and just being able to flick it over them and then being able to follow it up, right? Then we compound the idea that, okay, I'm dribbling at their net. Again, you try not to dribble straight at their net, right? So if they challenge you, you can actually get a flick over them, right? But again, I've failed the side flip flick twice now, but we're not going to talk about it. But again, if you get the side flip flick, okay, now I grab their boost. Okay, then here's the accuracy coming into play, right? I fucking missed it. But you get the idea.
But that's where it would come into play.
Then there's the air roll shots, right? Then there's the power, right? Where you get it around them. Then you use the boost that you do have. Get the fuck away from the ball instead of staying underneath it. Then you power shot it in. So these are all compounding things that I talk about that like, okay, yeah, you practice those power shots. Don't stay underneath the ball. Don't look at the fucking sky all the time. Get away from the ball. Use your boost more efficiently to like make a play like this. Okay, now instead of staring at the sky, I get away from it. Then I shoot it in. That kind of shit, right? So all the principles that I said in the replay analysis, you can actually apply to just simply picking the ball up, getting ball control, very fine motor control, being able to flick it over somebody like this. That's my most popular ones move right there. I'm not kidding, I have now a video of me 1v2ing Frowns and a guy from Season 5 who is like champ. 1v2ing them for a best of 3, and I won 2 out of 3 games. And I've also beat Lester. I beat and like 2 other guys that I also 1v1 back to back to back, and I won all 3 games pretty handedly. And if you watch that gameplay, you'll notice that I'm very efficient. When I have ball control, I can literally just wait for somebody to challenge and then just blast a 70-mile-an-hour shot open net. So that's the difference. And again, all my gameplay is on my channel. So if you guys really want to check out examples of all that stuff and see the real difference there, it's there. But yeah, I think that's probably all I got. I could probably talk all day about all this stuff, but if you really break it down, there's a lot that I've already said.
No, you've given incredible advice. The flicking advice in particular really stands out to me, and cementing the importance of working on air roll shots. Like, this has been excellent, dude. I really, really appreciate this.
Awesome. Do you have any other questions now in regards to any of the trainings or anything like that I said now? Because I know I've talked for another like 20 minutes.
Explained everything pretty well.
Okay.
I think I'm gonna go try this out right away, honestly.
Oh, awesome. All right, before you go, never mind. I was gonna say let me hit something, but all right, we're not gonna watch that. Let's get a clip or something. All right.
Oh shit.
Yeah, I think that's all I got. We were about 20 minutes over, which I think my worst time now is about an hour and 45 minutes. So I'm
Oh
trying
shit.
to not be so wordy and trying to condense down a lot of my stuff, but I really am hoping at least a lot of the stuff that I say at least makes sense in terms of like what you can improve upon and actually applying it. Um,
Absolutely.
so yeah. All right, man. I think that's all I got. I'm sure I'll see you around on the server for sure. I don't know if it'll be tonight yet. I'm probably gonna be going to bed here shortly, but I'll see you around this week for sure.
Cool. Yeah, I'll catch you out there.
All
Thanks,
right,
man.
man. Have a good one.
Later.
Later.